and welcome back to my channel. So I feel like I need an intro to my videos. Like I need like a cute little catchphrase because hey and hi is really boring and I'm trying to keep y'all here. So if y'all can help me like come up with some type of intro phrases that I can possibly use in my videos, that would help a lot. How has your week been? The weather warmed up, which is amazing. This week was my push week for both of my babies. Their birthdays are like 3 days apart. I've been deep in the birthday festivities, which has been really fun. And as I'm making this video, I realized that I think I want to lock my hair up. I went to the beach and I have like beach hair right now. And I just love how it looks, how it's sitting. I didn't think that I would want to make this decision so soon, especially because I have so much length now. But I'm very tempted to freeform my hair. Let me know if y'all think like I'll be cute with them. So this video I'm going to be talking about how I healed from asthma, my underweightness, and my mental health issues from integrating plant-based eating into my lifestyle. So I want to just start from the beginning. I was born with pneumonia. So this is something that was quite traumatic for my mom. I could only imagine like what she was going through when I was dealing with this, but I was born with pneumonia and I had to be hospitalized quite a few times from this pneumonia as a newborn baby. And I don't know if this is what triggered my asthma, but I ended up having asthma afterwards. I've dealt with asthma my entire life up until 2020 is really when I like started seeing a change in my breathing. Or I should say that's when I finally was able to start breathing. I've struggled to breathe almost the entirety of my life up until 5 years ago. And my asthma was really bad. I was using my nebulizer every day. I had to always have an inhaler with me. If I didn't have an inhaler with me, I need to go back home and go get my inhaler. It doesn't matter where I'm going. If I'm going down the street, I needed to have it. I would give breathing treatments at the hospital sometimes. It was to a point where I was going to the doctor and like they couldn't figure out why my asthma was so bad. And most people, they say that, you know, usually you grow out of asthma, but I just wasn't growing out of it. And my doctors were pretty concerned because at the age that I was at, I was a teenager, my late teens, and they were saying, you know, we're gonna have to do something because you living with this since you were born is a little bit bizarre. These are things that I was told by multiple doctors. It sucked really bad. I forgot to mention I also had really bad allergies on top of the asthma. So there were sometimes days where I would have my sneezing episodes, like I'm talking about extreme sneezing episodes that I would have during school sometimes, and I would just be sneezing like 10 times in a row. Like I'm like I'm sneezing like that, and it would trigger my asthma sometimes. So I'd be stuffy in the nose and then I couldn't breathe at the same time. So there were days where I literally had to like leave school to go to the hospital to get a breathing treatment so I can be able to at least breathe from my mouth. The combo of the allergies and the asthma together, not fun. I wouldn't wish that on like my worst enemy. On top of my asthma and allergies, I unfortunately started dealing with mental health issues. And this was around, to be honest, I think I was dealing with it in middle school, but I didn't recognize what it was that was happening to me. I just figured that it was just growing pains from becoming a teenager, you know? But I started going through really, really bad depression in 2018. Now, I was 18 at the time. That time was really, really rough for me because I was going through just like toxic relationships and just the household that I was in, like it was really, really bad. And, you know, environments play a huge role in how you are feeling on the inside, and the environment that I was in just wasn't nourishing me. And the people I was hanging around, they weren't nourishing me. It was a lot. I was dealing with a lot in that short span of time. I was also on birth control. I do think that this birth control was kind of playing a role in my mental health, because there was times where I would purposely not take it because I just had a feeling that it was doing something weird to me. And you know, the combo of birth control, and then on top of that, I was also taking antidepressants, antipsychotics. The combo of just like those prescription drugs along with my birth control, I think just created like a monster. I was suicidal. And when you're suicidal, like you get to a point where like you don't really care. And when I was not caring, like it was really, really scary, because when you get to that point where you don't care, you completely shut off and you don't really care about other people around you. I mean, you don't care about yourself, so obviously you're not going to care about other people around you. That was just like, it was really, really difficult. But I'm speaking on this because all of those things are the reason that I'm here today. When you are dealing with those things, especially for a very, very, very long time, you think these things are normal until you come out of it, and then you realize, holy shit, like none of that was normal. After I dealt with like the suicidal stuff and like my mental health just being really, really bad, I ended up leaving the environment that I was in and coming into a new space, a new environment, and rekindled with a man, an amazing man. This man is following a lifestyle that was very intriguing to me. And I am the type of person, like, I am curious. I like to learn things. I like to question things. I like to try to understand people's perspectives. This man, my man, introduced me to a new perspective when it came to consuming things, right? He is like a Rasta in a way, and I never realized that you could live a life where you weren't consuming foods, because I was raised where like I was consuming a lot of meat, a lot of red meat, a lot of pork, a lot of dairy, and a lot of processed foods. And when you are abruptly removed from that type of environment, and you are placed into an environment where none of those foods are even like yearned for, I wanted to understand why. So that is how I kind of making the conscious choice to not consume the foods that I've been consuming my entire life. So I never liked beans, I never liked avocado, I never liked certain foods. And you know, me with my curiosity, I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it out. I decided to learn a little bit more about it. When you're around people that are bringing you new things and like showing you new ways of life, especially like people from the islands, naturally I started to learn more about this plant-based eating, and I found out that inflammation causing foods, right? And a lot of the inflammation causing foods that I was seeing like on these lists were the majority of the foods that I had been eating my whole life. I'm seeing, you know, testimonies of people where they are naturally healing themselves. Of course, I'm like, now wait a minute, you can heal asthma? Because at the time I had no awareness of the fact that you could basically heal these ailments that you, like myself, were born with. That was enough information for me to be like, wait, I need to try this out. So I ended up doing a fast I think it was like a 3-day fast, something short. It wasn't that long. But I did a 3-day raw fast. Y'all, I still remember like to this day how I felt after that 3-day fast. In this 3-day fast, I was making raw versions of certain foods that I would like, right? So I'm making lettuce wraps, I'm doing the walnut beef, I'm adding the hemp seeds and the bell peppers and the tomatoes and the onions and all that, right? And I'm noticing how like beautiful my plates look, and I'm a very visual person. I love to romanticize life, and one of the ways that I like to do it is with food. Like, that's one of my love languages now. I just loved how the food looked, and I feel like when you love how you are putting into your body looks, it does something to like your mind. I don't know, but I was really loving like how bright my plates were looking, and I was loving how bright the food was making me feel. Within this 3 days, I'm just drinking water and basically eating salads. At the end of my fast, I didn't want to stop because I was feeling so alive. I wasn't wheezing for the first time. I didn't have tightness in my chest. I didn't have to use my inhaler within those 3 days, which blew my mind. I had like a different type of glow. I never noticed myself like this before. I ended up continuing the fast. I ended up extending it to, I think, about like 6 days. It wasn't a full week. I think it was about 5 or 6 days. After that fast, it was difficult for me to go back to eating the way that I was eating before. Now, there were times where I like dipped back into, you know, maybe eating like fried chicken or something like that. But I noticed very quickly after I would eat the whatever it was that I wanted, I felt like shit right after. I don't know what it is, but when your body purges all of that old shit, you have replenished yourself, but then you try to go back to that old shit, your body reacts very quickly. And I couldn't deny it. I couldn't try to, maybe it's something else. Like, maybe it's not the food that I just ate that's got me wheezing again, or maybe it's not the food that I just ate that's got me breaking out. Maybe it's just, you know, like I just couldn't make it up, you know, it was undeniable, and I don't like lying to myself. Truth hit me that, okay, this lifestyle is serving me in a good way. I want improvement. I genuinely want improvement in my life. So I think that I'm just going to have to put in this work and discipline and this consistency, and let's see where it can take me. So that's what I started doing. I continued just implementing new things and finding swaps for certain foods that I loved. I started to experiment. I started making like plant-based like black bean burgers, and they were really fucking good. You know, my favorite thing is spaghetti. Like, I started making like my own version of spaghetti, and that shit is really fucking good. Pancakes, like, I'm making everything that I love, but I am removing certain ingredients, dairy and eggs and all that. And the food tasted really fucking good. And I was shocked. I was really, really surprised, because I think that I think you assume that this food isn't going to taste as good as it would if it were to be made like with animal products. But to my surprise, sometimes it tastes even better. You know, with all of my experimenting and just finding new ways to create with these plant-based meals, I started noticing my mental health getting better. There was a lot of improvement going on within myself. You know, I used to be very angry and just kind of like a firecracker. I didn't have any restraint when it came to my inner world, and I used to just spew it everywhere. But I started noticing a calm within myself that I didn't used to have. I started releasing a lot of just like anger and a lot of sadness, and I was able to communicate more, a lot more just gentle. I just started becoming more gentle. 2021, that is when I conceived my first baby. I'm still eating plant-based. I started learning about wild pregnancy. I intentionally wanted to take this route, just my own biased perspective when it comes to the medical industrial complex. I knew that it was very, very crucial for me to lock in on my health like never before. This pregnancy is my sole responsibility. I'm not going to any doctors or anything like that. So I knew that it was very, very important for me to be responsible. I was craving nothing but raw foods, and it was very funny to me because I thought to myself, like, wow, this baby is very interesting because, you know, most people would think like a pregnant girl only eating salads. That's crazy. Yeah, I was the pregnant girl only eating salads. And I was eating so many salads, like, and the way that I was eating my salads wasn't with any dressing. Like, I was just eating lettuce or mixed greens, arugula with tomato, onion, bell pepper. I was just sprinkling salt on it. That was doing it for me. It was like a bag of chips. Like, salads were like a bag of chips for me when I was pregnant. This is what really, really gave me strength throughout my pregnancy. My baby was born safely at home, especially for it being my first time. Like, it was absolutely perfect, and my baby was perfect, and she was so chunky. When I say she was so chunky, she was almost 9 pounds. You would think that with how I was eating that my baby would be small, and she wasn't. Like, she was a big baby. She still is like a big baby, and she is my salad baby, and she still is my salad baby. Like, she will eat grass if she could. Once I saw direct results of what I was consuming, how I was consuming it, how it bred this just like perfect human being, it clicked for me that, okay, I'm doing something right. Yes, I am able to breathe now and my mental health is better. But when you conceive in this healthy state, you are pregnant during this healthy state, and then you birth within this healthy state, and your baby is healthy now, that was just all the confirmation I needed, like directly from God. Like, keep on the track that you're on because doing something, it's working. But after having my baby, you know, I'm going through the postpartum period, and I'm still nourishing myself with really nourishing root vegetables, and I was drinking all the soups and drinking my herbs and making sure like I'm up on my minerals, and I'm breastfeeding. My breast milk is just flowing. My mental health during my postpartum period is pretty okay. I didn't deal with postpartum depression, and I didn't deal with, you know, just sadness or baby blues. Postpartum is such a like vulnerable period. I feel like support is really, really important. And one of the ways to be supported is through nourishment. Knowing that I was being nourished and knowing that my nourishment was nourishing my baby, it's a catalyst to my life now. I don't want to stop. And now, you know, I went through the whole thing again with my second, and perfect, everything perfect again. And now I know that there's different realities and perspectives on different lifestyles and things like that, but this lifestyle seems to be serving me the best in this present moment. I don't like to put myself in a box, so that's why I don't claim veganism or anything like that. I don't even really like to claim plant-based eating, because once people hear that, they automatically turned off from it, you know? And, you know, it's understandable because I'm automatically turned off when I hear like carnivore diet, you know? So, and people have their opinions and they're allowed to. Me personally and genuinely, I just feel so much better. I look so much better when I eat plants. I struggled with being underweight my entire life. I didn't start putting on pounds up until I was consistent in my plant-based eating. I've always been 90 pounds, and currently today I just weighed myself, I'm 107, and to me that is like a lot, especially coming from like a space where I was just like really bony, almost emaciated. And today I have filled in and the weight is sticking. I wasn't getting any of that. It's even when I was like intentionally trying to consume more protein, animal protein, I wasn't gaining weight. If anything, I felt like I was like dropping weight when I was doing that. Plant proteins they just do something for me. I have a lot of energy. My libido is great. My mental health is great. My skin is clear. I can breathe. My breasts are full with milk. I'm at a pretty healthy weight. This is just like my testimony. Those who might be curious on this type of lifestyle, if you are trying to join this side, I think you're going to need determination and you're going to need a lot of discipline. There are going to be times in the beginning where it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to stick to this something new, because it is something new. Now that I've been plant-based eating for the most part, I'm going to say eating from nature, because at the end of the day, if I feel like eating animal protein, I will eat it. I don't really like to constrict myself or restrict myself from things that I want. It's all about a balance, and I've found a healthy balance, a healthy neutral. But the majority of my neutral is plants. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like it was all over the place, but whatever. I really am grateful that you guys watch my stuff. You guys support me. I love y'all. And as always, like, comment. I love when y'all comment, and subscribe and share as well. I'll see y'all on the next video.